Marty, talk to me. How shocked were you to see Manchester City park the bus at the Emirates?
Listen, they shut the shop, they closed it with the key, and they put the little sign saying closed. But then at the end of the game, Gabriel Martinelli goes around the back of the shop and puts a rock through the window and busts in and got the goal when required. But listen, I'm very surprised. This is Man City you're talking about. They revert to playing five at the back when they come here, and it was just not that creative. Obviously, they took Haaland off at the end. I haven't seen that really from Pep before, but, the long balls from Donnarumma, the time wasting. If I'm honest with you, I expect a little bit more from Manchester City than that sort of... listen, it nearly got them a result, but it didn't work. And at the end of the game, I think if they had when they were front-footed, they did have some results against us.
Are you sensing, obviously Pep Guardiola's won what he's won, he's a Premier League legend in the sense of 100%. Managers, but do you think we're witnessing the beginning of the end of him at Manchester City? He signed his new contract in November, keeping him until 2027, but if he doesn't win another major trophy in this season, could you see him gone? Not sacked, but potentially walking?
Listen, I think he's got a lot of credit in the bank due to his results, success, legacy. So I think if you're looking for him next season, then yes, those questions might be asked. I think this season he's got enough in the bank where he's going to be absolutely fine. It's as I say, it's interesting to play that shut-up shop football. I think it's a bit different, but listen, they're playing their strengths. They've changed their game around. It's gone back to like 80s, 90s football. They're playing long balls with the goalkeeper and shutting up the game. After 40 minutes, sort of thing.
Where did you like where Arsenal played sort of today? That first half was a bit drab. Were you surprised that Emirates didn't start the game, or in the long run, did Mikel Arteta make the right decision in bringing him on at half-time?
Look, I said before the game, personally, Christian Mosquera should have started the game. I don't believe Christian Mosquera gets beaten in that 1v1 situation where Haaland steams through. Haaland's dangerous and he will hurt you, but Christian Mosquera is one of the quickest defenders in the Premier League. The pace the guy's got is unbelievable, and William Saliba got skinned, and so did Gabriel. And that doesn't happen in that situation. Marino wasn't at the races. I get the setup of how he set up the Trossard thing, but he made the relevant changes at half time. So fair play to Arteta. He got that. He had to do it. If he had waited till 60, 70 minutes, then I think there would have been uproar. He'd done it half time. That's not something I've really seen him do. So he's learning. And he's learning to make the changes when he needs to, and those changes did affect the game. Eberechi with an absolutely phenomenal ball down the middle, through onto Gabriel Martinelli, and he did this against the Athletic Club in the Champions League. We're showing that he can be a match winner, or in this case, he can come on and make a difference, which he did. I like him down the middle. I think he's more of a 9 than he is a winger, because he can run into dead ends down the wing, but it's great to see him come on and make an impact.
Were you shocked to see Madueke go off at half-time?
I thought, personally, he would have taken Trossard off and moved Madueke onto the left, and then put Saka onto the right-hand side, and Eze through the middle. For me, I think Madueke can potentially fade after 60, 70 minutes, because he's such an impactful player. He plays at such a high intensity, but he was having results down that right-hand side in the first half. I was surprised that he got hooked, but maybe it was a knock. At half-time, I would like to have seen him got another 15, 20 minutes in the second half, see how he did on the left-hand side.
I know we're only 5 games into the season. I'm not going to ask you whether you're actually going to win the Premier League title, but this little stretch into the season, we've got such a long way to go. Are you still confident you can be a threat in all of these major competitions that you're going to be in this season?
No doubt we're a threat. We are 100% a threat. Liverpool absolutely fantastic, and if you look at players like Ryan Gravenberch, who they've got, who's 22, 23 years old, absolutely fantastic midfielder, goal he scored yesterday. And listen, Liverpool yesterday looked very, very threatening. That's the first time this season I've seen them being really conclusive. Okay, they nearly let Everton back into the game. Arsenal are going to be Manchester City, if they're going to start shutting up the shop like that. Listen, it works to an extent, but today they didn't get a result. 1-all's a great, is a good result for an away team at the Emirates, and we're disappointed not to win it. I do generally believe we're winning something this season with the squad depth, the quality that we've got. We can hurt teams. I just think we need this team and squad is starting to gel a bit more, and I think we're going to see Arsenal damage some teams this year and go very far in competitions, and definitely silverware has got to be on the cards.
What's going to happen if you don't get that silverware and you finish second again?
Look, it's going to be. It will be assessed at the end of the season. That's not my decision, but I think
I thought you were on the board.
Yeah, I wish. I certainly. I wouldn't mind their salaries and all, mate. But listen, I think, it is do or die. He's been given everything he needs to do. And I'm not going to sit here and start really criticising the manager and start saying he needs to go at the end of the season. You know, we'll assess that in May. Let's take the next game we've got in front of us. We've got Port Vale. Look, I want to see us go to Port Vale on Wednesday and absolutely destroy them. And that's it. I want to see us use our squad. I want to see certain players getting rested. And I want to see the players that get their chance. I want to see them do a job. And I want to see us win. You know, that's a perfect cup to win. Let's get a cup like that in early doors, and you know, and we can build from there. That will be very, very, I say, character building for this team, for this squad, and our football club now, and it'll give us something to celebrate. You know, there's competitions out there for us to win. It's just going and doing the business. You know, today was unfortunate. You know, of course, it's going to be disappointing getting a draw to this Manchester City side that can be hurt, but also at the same time, Donnarumma is a very hard goalkeeper to beat. He's conceded, but prior to this, he's played 2 games and had 2 clean sheets. You know, I do generally believe that if he went to a team like United, you'd see him go from 15th to 5th. Quite simply, he's that good. He is a top goalkeeper, and you can't take that away from him.
Talk to me. Manchester City parking the bus at the Emirates. Did it make it that much sweeter to score in 90 plus?
Well, it's always going to be good to get an equaliser or a winner at that stage of the game. I'm just a little bit disappointed we didn't start the second half like we started the first half. In the first half, I thought we were a little bit too defensive, a bit like Liverpool all over again. But yeah, we got what we deserved, I think.
Do you think the gaffer missed a trick not starting Eberechi Chiesa?
Definitely. I mean, I don't know what it is about Mikel Mourinho. Yeah, his numbers are good. He's a good player. I think we're living off the back of him with a striker last season. But, you know, he's not Eze. And you pay that much money for a play like him. Play him. It shows. You know, I saw Martinelli score on Tuesday night. I see him score today. So great to get a result off the back of, you know, losing. But apart from that, you know, the gaffer's got to do something this season. He really has. He's got the tools. Otherwise, I mean, I've never said Arteta, never, and I've never asked for a manager to lose, get kicked out or anything. But he's got to show something this season. He really has.
What would be the limit? Obviously, Premier League, Champions League. Would you be happy with another FA Cup, or has it got to be more than that?
I'm of a generation where the FA Cup was always the most important trophy to win. So, but it's not like that anymore. It's got to be the European Cup. It's got to be the league. You know, you win an FA Cup, come second or third. Well, we'll see. But I want the European Cup or the league. Absolutely.
Obviously, you've picked up a point, but if you did end up losing, you've lost to Liverpool already 5 games in. Do you think questions would have been asked if you can go on and win the title?
Well, no, not at all. I think because we are 5 games in, it makes it a little bit easier. If it had been 5 games to go, that would have been harder. But with 5 games in, we've lost 1. They're going to trip up. It's there to be had. Oh, yeah.
Any comments on Pep Guardiola parking the bus?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Who'd have thought, you know? Great manager. Got all the resources, all the money, this, that and the other, and sticks 11 behind the ball where they go 1 up. And their goalkeeper's playing for time and gets a card on 75 minutes when he should have had a card in probably about 12 minutes. But that's refereeing for you.
Even though he signed a new contract in November, you as an Arsenal fan, do you think this will be Pep Guardiola's last season as a Manchester City manager? Because it ain't the same team as what he's done over the last couple of years, is it?
It's definitely not. And I think he's never stayed anywhere for more than 3 years apart from City. To be fair, I don't really care. But he's good for the game. He's good for the game. If he stays, he stays. If he goes, he goes.
Talk to me. Manchester City coming down here to the Emirates and parking the bus and you score in 90 plus. Doesn't get much more sweeter than that, does it?
I mean, I think the manner, considering obviously the time wasting, which again I don't hold it against City for, because you know the game is ultimately the game, and I'd expect Arsenal to do the same thing, and it's great game management from them, as infuriating as a fan. But yeah, I mean, obviously it is sweet scoring that goal, particularly being their last season when Man City scored late on with John Stones. That was absolutely gut-wrenching. So to give them a slight bit of taste of their own medicine is nice, but not an amazing result. But good, obviously, in the picture of the game.
I mean, you picked up a point and you haven't, come away with nothing. Do you think questions would have been asked? I know we're 5 games in, but losing to Liverpool, and if it were a win for Manchester City, ain't a good look 5 games into the season when you're challenging for a title.
That's it, really. I think it's a weird one because we've not actually come unstuck from the big games before. Like, it's actually been the Fulhams, the West Hams, teams like that who have done us over. And we've been unbelievably good in the Big Six game. So this season's almost been a new one. And I mean, obviously that's the Bosley outrageous free kick, nothing in the game. Today there wasn't loads in the game, but obviously City, as you say, were pretty pragmatic, pretty defensive. And I think, yeah, as you say, if we lost today, I think 5 games in, the 2 big games, you lose, particularly at home to City. I think the starting of Mourinho, or like that general dynamic, would probably be questioned, but I think Arteta did rectify things at half-time.
Where didn't it work for you? Because obviously we watched the entire game. I just don't see Trossard starting in these games. He's just a safe pair of hands. I know Saka's coming back from injury, but Eberechi Eze, was it the right decision to bring him in at half-time? So then, obviously, everyone had a feel for the game, him coming in cold, but would you prefer to see him start?
Yeah, 100%. I think you've got when you sign a player like Eze, when you have a player like Waneri, who is Ødegaard's direct backup, we've seen loads of times this season, it feels a bit of a blasphemy that we started Mikel Merino again. And great footballer, love the guy, and can't appreciate more what he did, generally last season as the number 9, and obviously the goals he scored even this season, or general contributions. But there's just a time and place for it, and City at home, particularly City are quite a vulnerable defensive side. You just don't really want to see that sort of pragmatism, so it's a bit frustrating. But as I say, I think it's about learning from mistakes or getting those fine margins in our favour, because I think if you go for the safer option, it's not always a coincidence when you do concede, or not to concede, you do not quite get that goal in those big moments.
Last question, do you think the tables have turned with Guardiola and Manchester City, obviously winning the 4 in the row, not winning last season, and now the back line looking a bit shaky, you having to park the bus? Do you reckon, and I know that obviously he signed his new contract in November to keep him until 2027, but the Arsenal perspective, if all doesn't go to plan and everything that he's given that football club, do you see him walking in the summer?
It could be quite a predictable one. I think when you've got Liverpool as strong as they are, 5 wins out of 5, obviously Arsenal have been the second best side for however long and done unbelievably well to obviously not dislodge City, because they haven't, and City are the ones who have unfortunately won all the titles and everything like that. But I think I didn't see that type of pragmatism today. I think we've not seen since like the 4 titles in a row for City. I think they've been a bit more naive, a bit more fun, a bit more free. And even like this summer, Cherky, Reinders, potentially not City-esque signings. So I could see it. I think if City do have another fall-off year, so to speak, I think you could definitely see them.
Would it frustrate you if you won your first title since the Invincibles without Pep Guardiola being at Manchester City?
Mate, I'll be real. Couldn't care less. I think, there's one way of looking at it, that people can run narratives like, only when Pep and Klopp left the league. But we've shown we can be on a par with those sides. We just need to find a way to get over those fine margins, which is going to come from being a bit more risk-taking in games like this.
First things first, I want to start by asking you about the Manchester City parking the bus situation. What did you make of it? Were you a bit shocked?
I was, to be honest. I expected an open game, but it was nothing like an open game at all. I think Guardiola, you can't. There's an old saying: you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And Guardiola is one of the most skilled in the industry, but he's showing signs of actually learning tactically from past failures in these games. Kept it very, very tight. I think they looked at PSG's model of us last season when PSG came here and won 1-0. It's a very, very similar game. Only a moment of magic saved us from losing that game, to be quite honest with you. I think it was a very tactically dominant game from Man City. And again, it never felt open. It felt like they really took us off our rhythm in the first half. Poor passes, we looked way off it, the press wasn't there. It was really, really disappointing in that first half especially, and I thought we really need to up it. I think Arteta's substitutions were good ones, especially Martinelli. Eze coming into that central attacking midfield role. He played very well in that role as well. I thought Madueke's performance was good.
I was shocked when he got taken off at half-time. I thought, I didn't think Trossard really grew into sort of that first half, and O'Reilly sort of got the better of him. But I really thought the substitution for Mourinho actually really worked. Then I didn't know if you were going to sort of shift Madueke over to the left-hand side, keep Saka on the right, then put Eze in the 10.
Yeah.
Why do you think he did that, taking Noni Madueke off, who was the only real threat in that first half for Arsenal?
Do you know what? It surprised me a lot, and I don't know why he did it, because Madueke was actually running at his men. He was actually running. He always runs at his fullback, and that's what I love about him. He's so direct, and he goes for it, and he's strong, and he doesn't care. if he doesn't get past his man, he'll try it and he'll try again and again and again and again. He's got really great confidence. So I don't know why he came off. I think that was a mistake, taking him off. I understand that obviously he needed to make some tactical changes, but I don't think that was the right one. And again, it's these sort of, it seems to be with Arsenal, either with the littler teams or the smaller teams we struggle, or with the bigger teams we struggle, and it seems to change every year. This year, obviously, Arteta's gone up against Liverpool, been sort of, I wouldn't say out-tactic, but he tried to go hand for hand with the tactics in the game, and we lost with a sort of world-class free kick. Today, again, it was almost like he was trying to outthink Pep, but he didn't get it right. Pep got it right. Despite the result, Pep is the winner today in terms of the tactics, because he got it spot on. I think the big change was Martinelli. I mean, you know, Gabriel Martinelli saved us twice in a week. You know, he's been absolutely fantastic. And it shows the power of substitutions. When substitutions are made right, they can change a game. And when they change a game, obviously you praise them. So now we've got that squad where we can make actually important changes. And those changes today obviously got us that 1 point, which is better than 0 points. But I've got to say, I like Arteta, I do. But I think sometimes I don't know why he tries almost to be too clever. I don't understand why he started with Mourinho and Trossard. I would have probably taken Trossard off for Martinelli. I'd have done that a lot earlier as well. So again, I don't know. We have got such a firepower of an attacking team now. We've got all of these players in there. We're not playing to Gyökeres' strengths at all. Not getting the ball into him. And then fans say, well, why is he not scoring, you know, loads and loads of goals?
Do you think Arsenal sort of got a taste of their own medicine a little bit with Manchester City parking the bus?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think they came here and I think they were tactically very proficient against us. They really set up to frustrate us. And they've learned from the blueprint of other teams who have come to the Emirates, parked the bus, and come away with really good results. I mean, obviously, you know, every manager will know you've got to ride your luck against Arsenal. You do have to ride your luck. They're going to get a chance in the game. And, you know, if they get a chance and score it, like we did, thankfully, you know, you can always come unstuck. But in terms of what he did, Guardiola, I think he set out to frustrate. And he did it very, very successfully because we were all in there, the fans completely frustrated until literally that last-minute equaliser. And then, of course, it's just elation and relief. But I think the game was a draw. But in terms of the managers and the tactics, Pep Guardiola wins today.
Mate, talk to me about Manchester City parking the bus at the Emirates. Mad.
Mad. It is mad. They have a go at us, right? And then they go and bring on Ake and John Stones. Like I don't get it. They're only 1-0 up. They're scared of us. That's why they did it. It's not. Yeah.
You think the tables are turned now that Manchester City are scared of Arsenal?
Yeah, I do. Last season they didn't look all that. This season they're still rebuilding. They brought in Donnarumma. You can't play it from the back. They need a shot stopper. That's why they've done it.
Where did it work for Arsenal today and where didn't it, in your opinion, from what you saw inside the Emirates?
I reckon second half, when we made some changes, it was better. We brought on Eze. We looked better. We brought on Wanyeri. We looked quickly. Wanyeri and Eze got a start. We can't be starting Mourinho every week. Like, we've got 3 DMs in there. We've got to play Zubimendi, Rice and Mourinho until Ødegaard gets back. I think that was better when we brought Eze and that on. I thought we shouldn't have brought Madueke off, though.
Yeah, he was unbelievable in that first half, wasn't he? Well, it could have been a case of putting him in the left, putting Eze inside of the 10, Saka on the right. We know that Saka's not up to full fitness at the moment, but still at the same time, you get the point. Maybe Mikel Arteta knows more than we do.
Yeah, but I don't know why he brought him off. Like you said, he was playing brilliantly. He was actually beating his man, and he got him on a booking, and then we bring him off. And it's like, whenever everybody else comes on, they get the ball, they run towards him, and they just turn back and pass it. Like, we need players that want to get at people like Eze, Wanyeri, and all that. Yeah, it makes it so much better. That's why it's better in the second half. But we've got to play Madueke more.
We obviously mentioned the parking the bus at the top. Do you think that was a little taste of Arsenal's medicine, though?
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, because you've been very defensively. You went to Old Trafford. Manchester United could have easily won the game. Obviously, didn't put the ball in the back of the net. Liverpool at the same time as well. And then, obviously, Man City come here and do it, and you're the attacking team. But there's been occasions this season when Arsenal have done it as well.
I think with the Man United game, it was first game of the season. We didn't want to lose. We wanted to go out there. We wanted to get a win. I think Liverpool game's a bit harsh. I think first half we weren't great. Second half we were better. We looked more expansive. But I think with that, it took them a late goal to win. So it wasn't like they battered us. But, yeah, I can see what you mean. But today it was just annoying because City brought on like John Stones, Ake, everybody, and it was like, well, you're only 1-0 up. You're supposed to be like this world beater team. Like it's
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.